Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another scene from the Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York. And, yeah, we will set the scene at the Sept of the Green, wherein 10 Point has only just returned to Sept and is admittedly badly shaken and still working off, or working through the cold sweat that she put herself in and the horrible imagery that she was confronted with. So she has little mouse buddy on her shoulder as she walks in, gets cleansed, all that good nonsense, and will be very promptly returning to her cabin, to her PAX cabin. So as soon as she hits a veil-covered area, she'll take the time, because it'll save her more time than it'll cost to shift into Lupus, and will summarily tear ass across the Sept to get back to the cabin, pausing to change back only when she's gotten to the door. So whatever is happening inside, they will hear the clatter of her paws up the steps and across the boards of the porch, and have the brief pause as she changes back to do whatever they're going to do before the door opens.
He's sitting in his room, clearing out some of the mess since his big talk with Dallas, but he's just kind of sitting there, wallowing, really.
And what is Dallas up to? I have no idea what's been going on. Or is she even still inside? I don't know.
No, she has her mic muted. Where's Aiden at? Room? Dallas is sitting on a chair just outside his door, looking at it expectantly.
Looking at it what?
Looking at it expectantly.
So yeah, 10 Point lets herself in. Currently sans antlers, actually. Which she certainly had earlier today. And yeah, she will come in, glancing into each room as she passes them, and head towards any sound of motion, if that hastens her way at all, but will probably soon enough be in the hall looking to Dallas, at which point she will take a moment with an anxious look at the doorway, but will all the same go ahead and drop to her knees, bearing throat. And yeah, she has zero subterfuge, so it's pretty obvious she's probably a bit pale. There's Lord knows the two of them know how to detect recent panic in her, having seen it many times in the past. So yeah, she's not looking so hot, but at least she's goal oriented.
Dallas sort of looks at her and then looks over at the door and looks back at her. What?
Just showing respect, Raya.
He's dealing.
And she'll finally lower her head.
Sort of just a blatant disregard of like any hint of submission that she might have given Dallas. The sort of, because Dallas wasn't, doesn't know whether or not that was meant for her or not. But
oh yeah, I'm assuming the door is shut. I have no idea, but either way, I assume that Aiden isn't out there looking. So.
But yeah, Dallas just kind of gives a complete omission and just looks at the door.
Is the door open or shut? Torn a buddy.
Forgot I was muted. The door's shut. The door's shut, and you can hear rustling and cursing, and well, you can hear bottles smashing.
She'll kind of firm her lips into a bit of a line at the smashing. Kind of dare a glance towards Dallas again.
Her arms are crossed at the moment, and she doesn't seem to flinch at the sounds. She's just going to wait until they subside.
Eventually, Aiden will come out, and to Dallas's anger, she'd probably see a beer bottle in his hand. Like his head kind of blurry, sticking out, basically.
She raises an eyebrow at this, a single eyebrow, a people's eyebrow, if you will.
He'd look over at the two of you. Yeah, what is it?
I was waiting on patrol to go on patrol. I have no idea what the mule wants.
Look over at 10 Point.
Yeah, well, that's a definite step backwards.
She's in rare form, or she's in a mood.
Yep. Did you mean to
Right.
go on patrol then, Ryan?
Nah, fuck it, Dallas. You can go on your own. And he'll open the door, and you can see he smashed some bottles in his room, basically. Made the bed, but smashed everything else.
We just talked about this, Aiden.
I'm fine. I'm fine. It's not ready yet. Storm passed.
Considering I imagine that 10 Point's kind of blocking the way, she will make a quick scoot to the side so she doesn't get trod on.
I'll meet you out there. Just you look back at her. I'm just not ready to go yet.
She stands up and sort of brushes off her clothes and walks out. And looks around.
Is she leaving the cabin entirely?
No. She's just
Okay.
walking out in sort of like a wider space that isn't the hallway.
Yeah. Now I imagine the kin will be moving to handle the mess that Aiden has created. And 10 Point will flatten herself to one side to get out of their way and then follow the others into the the sitting area. And there's kind of an inquisitive pulse through the pack link. It's wordless.
You turn and look over at her. What's the problem?
I just want to know that you're all right, Ryan.
Don't I look fine?
She decides the tactical answer to that is to not answer.
There's an eye roll that where if any more powerful would literally tilt the Earth off its axis.
And it kind of gives her like a shrug. I'm fine. I don't know why both of you are fussing so much. Opens the fridge and takes out booze. And eats, like you see him picking meat as well, eating it.
How much is he leaking into the pack link still?
It's constant.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So yeah,
Although there's less of the self-blame. There's more just grief now. Less of that self-hatred.
Yeah, so he wanders into the kitchen and roots through the fridge, and just being in his company and parting the curtain again, as it were, as 10 Point would have shielded herself up again while she was out and off sept. But yeah, the curtain parts, she leaves herself completely open to the onslaught, and standing there looking after him in concern, she just spontaneously starts shedding tears steadily down her cheeks. Essentially, she's taking the overflow.
Probably eventually he'll raise an eyebrow. Are you crying?
She'll blink a couple times to clear her eyes, probably pressing out another tear or two in the process, and kind of rub a hand across her cheeks. Yes, Raya.
Why are you crying? Did something happen?
Burden shared is a burden lessened, Raya.
Did something happen at that point? You won't say angrily, just calmly.
Oh, I mean, he can tell that something happened. And she starts to again say no, and then kind of pauses because she really doesn't want to repeat a previous mistake. Yes, but it is not why I'm crying.
Raises another eyebrow over at Dallas.
Dallas looks at Aiden in a sort of a genuine, that just look of like, I'm not exactly sure what's going on either.
All right, well, explain what happened first, and then, kind of just gives us that confused, like, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with her,
Let's be honest, she's surprised he's up ambulatory and speaking whole sentences, so she seems to be ill at ease again as far as not knowing how to offer comfort, because now's the part where the lines are drawn again. I went with William White Raya and Eric Skavgard Raya into the city to meet with an usurper. We are sharing the dreams and visions that all of us have seen with one among them so that she can piece them together to try to truly determine the nature of the thing in the museum, the egg, what will happen,
What was her name?
and how to stop
What
it.
was it? What was its name? Sorry, its name. What was its name?
And she probably had her arcane active, so she opens her mouth like it's the easiest thing in the world to answer, and then realizes she doesn't fucking know. And pauses for a hot second and begins to look kind of puzzled. All the while, periodically a tear is gonna leak out of her eyes because, again, she's just kind of welling out the extra from Aiden.
She was like a confused stare. You don't know her name? Or their name? Their name?
I'm trying to remember if Violet said her name in the scene. Give me 1 second to double check. Oh, yeah, it was, because they spoke to each other. The other one was called Violet. I remember that.
He gives a very raised eyebrow. Violet. Heard the name.
Yes. It was just somewhat more eventful than intended. I'll be fine.
I don't agree with them letting those people in your head. But hey, Raya's orders.
The intention is to put the pieces together, and once we have a full tapestry, to share it with all who are involved so that we can work together in resolving it. We have very, very little time.
That's usually the case with these things.
I might have given protest, but this is the end we're talking about. This is not something I can draw lines in the sand over. It won't matter what she did to my head if in the end we're all dead.
Yeah, well, he just shrugs. We'll see. Very much doubt it's the end. But we'll see. I don't know half of this spirit stuff anyway.
If it hatches, yes.
Well, then we kill it before it hatches. So, we'll see what happens.
It will be hard. It is... If I understand right, it is the opposite of a cairn. Instead of welling, it simply consumes.
I see. Well, just shrugs and opens the fridge and takes out more alcohol.
And in a pretty poignant change from her norm, 10 Point is actually going to kind of unsteadily follow suit. And will, in fact, find something. She doesn't care what, as long as it's got an alcohol content in the fridge. And just kind of slip it out.
There's beer, whiskey. There's beer, whiskey. There's literally all kinds of alcohol there.
Yeah, probably. Considering her recently discovered lack of alcohol tolerance, yeah, she'll just snag a beer out of there, slip it out while he's got the door open, and pop it and move promptly out of his way while tucking firmly into it because, goddamn.
Raises surprised eyebrows. He sits down on the desk, like offers one to pushes one in Dallas's direction as well, and just sits there.
Dallas takes it and will twist it off with a bare hand, and even though it's not a twist cap.
So how did William White look?
Not good.
Nods.
Still goal-oriented, but not good.
Yeah, I can imagine, right?
Yeah. She kind of idly will periodically reach up and wipe her cheeks dry. Like, do the kind of sweep of a hand. It's a completely pointless gesture, but every so often she'll reach up and do it.
Just nod and take another long drink. He say anything to you?
No.
Typical. Takes his drink.
He is not fond of me.
Oh well, you do feel the sting through the pack link, and Dallas to see just this snarl on Aiden's face. Not fond of you. That's funny for the Crusader of Metis himself. Don't mind me. The alcohol makes me bitter. And just nod to both of them.
She'll actually go ahead and tip back and probably empty her bottle very promptly. We're talking like college kid promptly.
Raise an eyebrow at her. Not bad, eh?
Yes.
Well, let's hear it. We'll lean back.
And her jaw kind of... She essentially is like grinding her teeth. She works her jaw for a second, kind of locks it. You could see if you wish to. I'm not...
Might as well tell it. Might as well tell us 10 points. She clicks his fingers at Dallas. She can't see it.
Dallas kind of offers that shrug, like, well, he's got a point.
And her mouth kind of opens and then closes again. I don't think, Raya, that you would necessarily appreciate the impact.
10 point at this rate. It ain't much more bad than what I'm dealing with already, so hit me with it.
And she casts him almost a pleading look. And then, I mean, she's not barred to him, but she's not leaking out into the open link either. Though, for just a moment, she'll press the lingering kind of terror out into it. Not long, but just enough to give him kind of a touch of it, to give him an impression of the severity of the situation. And it's not the immediate, like, hot animal terror she had when Dallas had her up by the throat. It's just kind of like this cold, gripping, clinging terror. It's old terror. It's old experiences and memories, but it's nonetheless pretty fucking stark and pretty fucking severe. So she will, I needed a comparison, God. But yeah, so she very briefly kind of gives him a glimpse of her current state of mind, and then shoves it tidily back into the box, as it were.
Surprisingly, like, there is that initial, like, ooh, you know what I mean? Ooh, you know? He just takes a drink very calmly. Well, looks over at Dallas. He's having a shit time.
Old memories from when the lines were first drawn, Raya.
Yeah, I bet.
It wasn't teaching. It was...
Do you want to see mine? He'll say, smiling. All bitterly.
I already can.
There's one that I've been hiding.
Then show me.
And she will feel the pain of his father's death and the pain of watching someone he loves die in front of him slowly.
And Aiden has had his whole life to cope with these sorts of things, but 10 Point is not. In fact, 10
Basically,
Point was probably not even present when her mother was killed, so...
basically this old wound of a girl literally stabbing herself to death in front of you. And a person being literally blasted straight in the face, basically. Or by a gun, basically. You know, right? And you can see it from Aiden's eyes, basically. You obviously get the impression that he was right there for both occasions.
Yep, and she just kind of sinks to the floor. She already had the tears that were more congruent with suffering from grief, but yeah, that'll drive her all the way down till she's on the floor with her knees curled up to her chest and her hands kind of up in an attempt to hold her face together.
Dallas leans her head over to one side, kind of looking down at her and then looking up at Aiden.
She gets to see what the great tamer of dragons have to deal with. Says that very sarcastically. But the great tamer of dragons says that incredibly sarcastically.
I don't even know where to roll because everybody's doing stuff in every single dice roller. I'm going to dice roller 2.
Oh no, you're good. I just said fuck it, I'm closing this because we were like rolling in 2 different places. Nobody knew what was going on. I figured we'd be in the werewolf dice roller. In fact, I will set it up.
Ooh, 2 successes. Remember how the scene previously that Dallas was kind of like trying to talk him up?
Mm-hmm.
So this peony that she's done is basically to see if that, the great tamer of dragons is kind of a knock at what she was getting at before. Because it definitely made her ears perk up. And she's got 2 successes.
With 2, he's not really mocking her. He's more mocking himself because Aiden is Aiden, and he is the overconfident loudmouth that he is. He's more mocking himself than mocking what Dallas was saying.
Okay.
More of that self-deprecation, basically.
Still makes her somewhat miffed, but not worthy of a rage roll. She's going to look down at 10 Point and then look up at Aiden and cross her arms and shake her head.
Apologies, Raya. And she'll, again, this time with the arm kind of scrub at her face and shift from sitting on her behind to moving into a kneel instead. The dreams, the visions were...
Oh, shit. I should roll for... I just realized I should roll for something.
Oh, good.
Good.
I was going to say, please pass. We already started. Otherwise, it's going to be really bad. But yeah, the dreams, the visions were of a time back home when I was young. And they stood as tall as mountains and insisted that they had to make sure that I understood, well, after I'd come to understand. It was not teaching. It was cruel. And it was harsh.
Do you think anything that Aiden does, or that I do, or that anyone that treats you the way they do on this set doesn't have some hint of cruelty to it?
Maria, what you do is necessary. The lesson is learned. I have learned to take strength from the teaching I'm given. But back then, I was much younger, and I did not have this resolve.
Some resolve. She'll sort of gesture down to the floor where I'm sure there might be a few errant tear stains.
These are not my tears, Raya.
I know. She'll look up at Aiden.
He's drinking, leaning back, and he'll look over at the two of you. Well, it's the perfect timing where we could tell he wasn't even listening. He's just raising an eyebrow.
Dallas is gonna stand up until she's standing like 10 feet tall. Never leaving Hamid, but just looking at the both of them. What do the two of you want out of your existence?
What do you want then, 10 point? You lean back.
And she heaves a long sigh. The breath that comes out is not steady. I stand by what I said in the past. I have many lives to pay back. And if I am lucky, I will earn merits of my own beyond what I owe.
Is that all you've got? 10 point?
It is all I'm allowed to have, Raya.
Dallas is gonna reach down and she's not gonna do it like viciously or even with like any kind of hint of malice. She's just gonna grab a hold of 10 point's cheeks, sort of like palm under her chin.
Mm-hmm.
Grab her and sort of pull her face upwards. Bullshit. You might be a menace, but everything that thinks, everything that exists, has an ambition of some kind. Don't say that you're not allowed to have goals or dreams or anything. You have duties, same as anyone. But even you, whose purpose is pretty well defined within the nation, has to have something. You don't, you're hollow, empty inside. And do you know what happens to empty things when pressure is put upon them?
There's a weak, like, she can feel the pressure of the nod. She's not moving her chin out of the grasp, but yeah, she can feel the light pressure of slight nod.
Dallas will lead 10, or try to lead 10 point up to her feet.
She'll be able to. 10 point's pretty fucking malleable.
Mm-hmm. Not part of your pack yet. And there's still a lot of anger I have at you over what you did. But if I ever got to the point where I told you you couldn't think or dream for yourself, I'd be no better than the Spirals. I'd be no better than the Weaver. So try again. What do you want out of life?
She looks a little more broken down over it. Definitely not as steady in her resolve as she was a moment ago. Raya, in order to pursue my own dreams, whatever I might wish to do, I would have to accept that it meant preserving my life to do it. And I would have to set aside my purpose. I cannot. I can hope that I do these things in the time that I have.
Every single one of us here has to have something else besides the calling that we were given. She'll look over at Aiden.
Nods.
You can't be an effective Garu if all you have is your duty to the nation. Because while you're doing your duty, you might be on point. In fact, I know you are. I saw you in battle yesterday. I saw you in battle that first time we went out. I know that while you're doing your duty, you're exactly what you're meant to be. But if you've got nothing to come back to, you're just an empty shell that starts crumbling.
And her face falls. All I want is to do something big enough to make my Raz proud of me.
You know, I haven't forgiven you, and I don't think I'm going to, about the deceit. But to say that I'm not proud about the way that you comported yourself yesterday would be an outward lie.
And there's is that a little bit of a lip tremble there? She locks her jaw to keep that in some semblance of control.
Okay, I'll roll for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wither. I can see nothing.
I mean, she doesn't have any subterfuge, so I would say you might spot the bit of motion and get the vaguest idea, but you won't necessarily get the how in depth a thing it is for her to be able to say "Senpai noticed me." Essentially,
God, no. I've got a tsundere. Aiden, on the other hand.
oh, Aiden knows. Aiden knows that fucking like it sounds shallow to say that I want you to be proud of me, but he can blatantly see how much it rocks her to like sets her back on her heels to have someone to have a proper guru, especially one that she respects, say they're proud of her in anything she's done.
It's a good goal to have. Just nods.
Dallas pulls her hand away.
And 10 Point remains standing She's not the steadiest she could be, but she's upright. Between her own emotional baggage and Aiden's, it's a lot.
Listen to me, 10 Point. I become part of your pack, you're going to have a Get standing next to you. You damn well better stand with your shoulders upright when you stand next to me. You keep earning my pride. Anybody who tries to take that away from you, anyone that tries to take away your dreams from you, I'll kill him.
And there's another weak nod of acknowledgement and understanding. And again, the hand comes up and rubs across her cheek before falling again. Yes,
She'll look,
Shreya.
with sort of a curt nod, she looks over at Aiden. And you,
Huh?
what do you want out of life?
Me?
No sarcasm, none of that shit.
You think? Lean back. I could have kids one day. That would be nice. I'd like to. I don't know. I'd like to go somewhere quiet. Do you know what I'd like for go home when I get my challenge for agent and walk in and walk out and just he'll smile to himself. You know, bask in the fact that I'm an agent of the nation in the Sept of Silver Tara just once.
She gets a smirk at that. Nods. I want to die.
And what this he kind of like takes a step, like leans back, like what? You know. You want to die?
I want to die in the way that's fitting for Fenrir. I want so many merits stacked up behind me that when Gaia's grace comes down upon me, at the moment where my life leaves this shell, that I open my eyes and I see my ancestors. I see the bonds between Stag and Fenrir that are made firm over thousands of generations of living side by side, fighting side by side, together in the greatest halls. To look upon the gates of Valhalla and know that I am going to be accepted into those mead halls and have them sing out my name in warm greeting.
For Dallas, she can roll perception empathy on Aiden, and 10 Point will feel it through the pack link that there is an image of that man that haunts Aiden's dreams, and he dreams about killing him every night.
I got a success.
You got a success. Aiden's not telling everything that he wants in life.
I think I should also really like to have a kid. Daughter and a son. Two little knuckleheads that when they get old enough I can knock their heads together and tell them, this isn't how your mother does it. Do it better. I want a husband and a wife. And she gets a smirk. Maybe 2 wives.
Maybe 3.
It's a bit excessive.
That's nothing wrong with 3 wives. I mean, he smirks to himself.
So even when she goes, that's a bit excessive, even 10 Point kind of startles a bit of a a puff of breath, not a full laugh, but just like, nope, that's the line too.
I mean,
There-
you could have 5. Why not?
Because I don't want to go fucking mad. And it, like the sound of that chuff coming out of 10 Point, she pats 10 Point on the head.
I mean, think about it this way: Hunter's Mane. You're a line of beyond because you have multiple children, so you don't have to worry about it fading. You know? Kind of taps his nose like, see, Aiden knows his shit. You know what I mean?
I think I could also do with my kids being pawned off on Uncle Aiden.
Uncle Aiden now, that's he kind of thinks to himself. Yeah,
You got any cousins?
I mean, nope,
Pretty cousins?
nope.
Distant relations?
Probably somewhere, but from what I know, and 10 Point once again will feel like almost like hit in the back of the head by a sledgehammer.
All things considered, in the somewhat delicate state she's in, there's probably a visible reaction when that shit just slams in.
As far as I know, I'm the last of my line. Emotional sledgehammer to 10 Point, you know.
Yep.
She'll kind of reach across and punch him straight in the arm. Not hard. I know a few get girls that might find you appealing. You marry one of them.
Find me appealing. And he kind of gives her a look like, listen, hen. I don't need no sympathy, person, right? You know, he kind of gets this haughty stare for once.
She crosses her arms and then reaches out and grabs a hold of his sleeve and pulls his arm up with the other hand and then squeezes the underside of his arm. Get girls like a little bit more here.
Kind of like looks at it. Kind of gives her this look, you know, like, I mean, he puts his hands on his hips. What the fuck is that supposed to mean? You know?
She holds up both
You
hands.
know, fair.
Just speaking what I know.
If the get girls see me charged into the rooms like there's nobody business, I don't think they'll be. Is he strips off his t-shirt and he's skinny but he's ripped, you know. I'm well muscly. I don't know what you're fucking on about.
Charging into a ruins. How well has that worked out for you when it comes to me? Oh, right.
I've
Never.
nearly beaten twice. I've nearly beaten you twice, and I bet Nigel donked him straight in the fucking skull. You were 10 points there.
Horseshoes and hand grenades. Tamer of dragons. And she smirks.
And what's my fucking nickname? He kind of puts it, what's my deed name? You know what I mean? He puts his hands on his hips again. You know.
Think about it, though. Aunt Dallas, Uncle Aiden, going off, doing stuff out in the normal world for a bit. And all 15 of my kids, and 3 of yours, I guess, get left with Auntie 10 Point.
She's so far gone in everything else that she just doesn't have it in her to like fabricate a look of horror. She actually looks kind of okay with this in a terrifying way. It's like, oh, that'd be
He does
nice.
exactly that motion. He does exactly that motion in the game. What do you mean? What do you mean 3 hits here?
I'm just saying, you know, I didn't want to assume anything.
Listen, he kind of does the point as well. I will have as many kids as I like.
So how about 20 then?
I wouldn't mind. 20 mini Aidens going around the place. I think it would be the greatest thing ever. You know, he just like puts his hands on his hips like, Yeah.
Good, because I'm thinking about maybe 30 now. So I'll have
Jeez,
50 little ones.
Can your room take that much?
Can yours?
Listen, I am incredibly potent. It's a very haughty stare.
Are you now?
You're never going to find out, are you? He kind of gives her like the stare, like, I don't know what you mean by that.
Don't want to.
Good.
If I were going to break the
You
litany,
know,
It would require a lot more than. And she just looks him up and down.
Listen, Hen. Listen here and listen well. I am the best goddamn lovemaker you have ever seen or will ever hear about. Because I'm, you know why? Because I'm tamer of fucking dragons. That's why. He gets this very haughty stare, like completely offended that you would dare question his abilities.
I don't know.
In fact, do you know what? Find these get women, and I'll fucking tell you. He gets really like just serious.
And she'll
Bring
cross
him to
her
me.
arms. I don't know. I can't speak for all get women, but I know the ones in this sept would really only go for a guardian who's out doing his rounds when they're meant to be.
Right. I see how it is. I see how it is.
She's got that, like, biting her own lips from the inside, laughing at him. Because now it's got to be clear what she's doing.
That's pretty flagrant, yeah.
I see how it is.
Mm-hmm.
So if I go out and do my rounds, you're gonna set me up with all your get girlfriends then.
Not all of them. She gives a wink.
All of them. He says quite seriously, like folding his arms, like, yeah, I'm negotiating this.
Challenge me for the right for me to fix you up with one of them.
Challenge you for the right?
Mm-hmm. The privilege.
Privilege? He kind of just...
Hey, question. While this is going on, is the grief like dissipating in a healthy way?
Semi is, semi isn't. You can tell he's
Well, I
masking.
mean,
most of it.
it's not over, but
Oh yeah, there is some of that haughtiness. Like what mainly 10-point gets is indignant. Like, how dare she think privileged? Surges through the pack link.
she finally the tears seem to stop, at least for the moment. Privilege.
She strips down off of her top everything but what keeps her modest. And she'll kind of tap, like, the area just above her cleavage. If you can't get past me, you can't get to them.
Privilege. He kind of is still like, just staring at her. Listen well, Hunter's Mane.
I'm listening.
Privilege.
Tamer
Fine.
of dragons.
Well, fine. You know what? He kind of gets this like girly stare. You don't have the privilege of chatting up on if you like folk then. And does this, Huh.
Maybe I'll have to go find myself a Silverfang girl.
Fuck that.
A nice
hear you
Russian
like
girl
redheads
who
anyway.
gets... There are redheads among the Silverfangs. Don't think I haven't looked.
Not as pretty. Not as pretty as the Irish redheads, though, are they?
I mean, minus the freckles, but...
Don't make fun of
Yeah.
freckles, though.
Have
They're
you ever
nice things.
seen a Silverfang kin on the warpath?
I've seen Silver Franklin plenty of times, and there's nothing beats a good woman with sturdy hips from Ireland. The Hunter's Mane, let me tell you that. He kind of just puts his hands on his hips.
Mm-hmm. All I hear is a lot of John and not a lot of challenging.
How sturdy is who's got the sturdiest hips out of your girlfriends? He actually asked this very seriously, like almost like.
Oh my god. Yeah, 10-point is awkwardly standing by and very pointedly avoiding having anything to do with this entire conversation.
I'm serious. Who has the sturdiest one? Who's got the most buxom hips?
Oh, Clara.
Fine. I will challenge you for the right to seduce Clara and her sturdy hips.
All right then. Challenge accepted.
Strips off and gets ready to be punched in the face.
My terms are survive this. And she's just going to look in his eye, and there's a devilish smirk. And go ahead and roll perception empathy.
I will. His haughtiness.
It's about to be so good or so bad.
2 successes.
You know how they're kind of talking about reproduction right now? And she said, survive this.
Yeah, yeah.
I think you know where this is going.
Not his face.
He kind of gets,
Not his face.
kind of just gets a stare, like, oh shit. Kind of like, yeah, he takes a step back, you know.
That was a low blow. So I'm gonna roll the damage.
Actually, I'm going to demonstrate the look of realization on Aiden's face with this perfect picture, basically. It's the look of pure, like, what?
Oh, is that look of? Oh no!
Right for the family jewels.
A low blow is strength +1 plus successes, so it's her strength +3, which is 7 dice of bashing.
Come on, Discord, fuck everyone over like you always do.
The only one that would be fucked over in this case would be you.
Yeah.
Don't tempt fate like that. That's only the one.
For the love of God, soak it.
God, see him?
I'm
Like,
sure it
there is
doesn't
that
feel good.
No, he like you hit him, and he's like doubles over, like leans against the table.
And she'll start a count. 1, 2,
Slowly, like rises his head up, slowly, like standing there, like
3,
I'm fine,
4,
I'm fine.
5. She's waiting for him to get to his completely.
Yeah, he just stands up straight, like still holding his hands over the area, but still standing up straight. Why would you hit me there? Right in the fucking.
Oh, Tamer of Dragons said he was so virile. I had to make sure. Your challenge has been won. And she'll pat him on the shoulder.
Just nods.
And at that point, I'm pretty sure that Aiden will probably never classify her as an Arun again, but an Arabash.
He'll just look at her, like point. There's no need to hit me right in the clover. 10 point. No, 10 point. Dallas.
You accepted the challenge.
He kind of points. Fine.
I'm sure that you are very familiar with challenges such as these.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe not specifically that, but
Yeah.
the fact that it was definitely fair to you. You saw through it. You saw what was coming.
Mm-hmm. He just nods. He's like, stands up. Right. Clara better be fucking pretty. He just points at her almost, and if she's not, you know what I mean?
Dallas will snicker and pull out her phone, and then pick up get out a picture that's a somewhat risque.
Jesus, there's that look
And
on his face again. You know?
I'm gonna screw it. I'm gonna say it's like an appearance 4 Get Girl, blonde hair for days.
Takes the phone off Dallas and just stares at it. Jesus. She live with you? He kind of looks over at her.
She smiles. She bites.
There's not the look of fear on Aiden's face. There's no. The exact grin. Or is it now?
Winner of honorable challenge, Aiden Lynch. Tamer of Dragons. I hereby endorse the courting of my kin.
Well, he kind of just fixes his collar. Well, I think. Do you know what we should do? I think you should introduce me, Dallas. After all, his only cordial thing to do is he like stretches a bit. You know, because
she's gonna rub her chin a bit. Take 2 steps.
No, he kind of gets a defensive look. No, I won't.
Come on, take a few steps.
Slow step. You see the wince of pain on his face. Second step, wince of pain. There, took 2.
All right, now walk to the door.
You
No.
might try the shower if you're going to primp yourself up for a
He
king
literally just
Raya.
shouted 10 point.
Oh. Well, I didn't know. Meh.
Well, do you know what? 10 point. If I move on a baby in nicer clothes, as he stretches his body over.
She like her eyebrows pop up. Me?
That's right, yeah.
Like side glances at one of the Silverfankin that pretty much
Oh,
stays
yeah.
with the cabin. Like
Clicks his fingers at one. Get me the nice stuff. Fancy shite. Gives her a thumbs up, and Silverhanger probably rolls his eyes at him.
they still gonna do your shit because you're a Kraus now. Meanwhile,
Yeah,
10
that's
points
me.
like, please don't command me to touch Balian's anything. He'll kill me.
And he's like, does she appreciate points over a 10 point?
What?
She doesn't appreciate them being there though, right? Point to 10 point, enthusiastically.
She is a bit more traditional get.
There you go. Yeah, there's that grin on his face. That's more like it. Jesus, this
No.
girl sounds right, Crack?
I think you misunderstand. They weigh Metis more on their merit, what they've done.
Oh. Well, we can work around that. We can't just nod to himself.
Oh, a minute ago there was nothing to compare to. Now you look thirsty as fuck.
Man has needs. He kind of just nods. Man has needs. I mean,
Realize if this goes well, we're going to be related, right?
the more you have in the
10 point
piano,
finally kind of like holds up a finger.
Looks over at him. I've fit 10 point.
Raya, don't forget. The Baron.
The what?
The Baron is coming back in a few days with you know who.
Thinks to himself. Yeah, but you see, the plot.
Don't marry this one, Raya.
When there's the yeah, but Dallas is just going to grab the phone and then put it and show it directly to 10
No.
point.
But
Yeah, she kind of blinks, turns her head a bit, like does the tilt, blink, and reaffirms. Don't marry this one, Raya, please.
I am not gonna marry her. 10 point. What you take me for? I see a really good woman with sturdy hips and I marry her instantly.
You married one, didn't you?
Rubs his hair. Might have.
After promising your hand to Baron von Everett for his niece.
But you see, the thing is, he looks at the two of you with this ingenious idea. I never made the marriage license, so it was just a crazy Vegas wedding. There you go.
Point is so relieved that she actually like falls back onto a chair, like just oh thank God, we're saved.
So
type of like collapse.
So you see, told you, don't worry about me. I can get my way out of anything.
Oh God.
I just never tell her that I did it. You see, I keep the other one offset. She's never going to find out. No problem.
Dallas is going to grab a hold of Aiden, spin him around, and get him to where he is inches from her face. You make children with her. If you're not a good father, I will finish what I started here.
Looks down at his balls. I'm not going to make children with the girl. I'm just. Well, if she would like a drink, no.
I'm just saying.
What do you take me for? Like I walk around having kids with everybody?
You did say you wanted 20, Raya.
That was after she said she wanted. That gives 10 point to look like you're not helping. You know what I mean?
She's not.
She can be frustrating. And she points back over her shoulder at 10 point, but she speaks the truth.
Yeah, the wee little thing gets under her skin, doesn't she? Anyway, look. I would not mind accompanying her, maybe for a drink or anything like that. Who knows? Maybe I'll have sex with her, whatever. But I'm not gonna marry her. Because it taps Dallas on the shoulder. I'm certainly not gonna have fucking kids with her. No offense to her. She's a nice looking girl, but I'm fine. With marriage. Up to say awkwardly. Who knows? Maybe I might though. That wife would be pretty cool. He starts talking to himself like as if the two of you
As he's like rambling, 10 point, well, just innocently observe that, mating within the nation does not require legal marriage, Raya. You
Clicks
simply
the
have to
fingers.
save that for the Baron's niece.
See, 10 point, you get me. Yeah.
I
There
try.
you go. There you go. Like puts his arm around Dallas. And 10 point at the same time. So let's go meet your friend. He kicks open the door.
The Kim folks probably standing there like, but, with the clothes.
She's just gonna.
He'll turn. Wait, no. He will actually strip off in front of the two of you. Fuck it. He's not breaking the litany for any of you two.
Considering 10 point has 0 sex drive, as far as she knows, anyways. Yeah. She will be not in the least bit interested.
Dallas just looks over at 10 point, and there's just that smirk of, like, I got you, fam. Because she's getting Aiden out of the house, and she's got a smile on his face.
Yeah. If she could get away with hugging her, she probably would.
Comes out looking like this, going, what do you think?
Ain't breaking the litany for you, but it's an improvement.
I don't care about your opinion. I care about the woman's opinion. He swaggers out, the familiar bravado back. That's supposed to see those hips. As he's walking.
She follows behind him. She's just kind of low key as she walks past 10 point, offers a down low.
Oh my god, yes. She has never been offered this, but she has seen other people do it. This is good. Yes. The relief is so blatant on her face, and the fact that the tears have remained gone is a pretty good indicator.
And probably at that point, too, that Dallas or 10 point will probably be able to tell that, yeah, you pissed her off pretty thorough, you hurt her, and she'll probably never trust you the way she might have. But she is treating you like a packmate.
Oh,
and
yeah.
She doesn't care about your emotional well-being.
Yeah, she will color her surprised, but suddenly she's going back out again. Go figure. Because she is she's not missing this, not until Aiden tells her to get the fuck out.
Yeah, it looks over at 10 point. You coming or not, 10 point?
And yeah, she will quickly go about closing the door and hurry to get caught up.
Dallas is putting her stuff back on.
Yeah, Aiden will swagger off to meet these amazing sturdy hip kinfolk. First thing he gets there is like, ladies, rubbing his hands together.
I think I'm not sure about you, but I think that's a pretty high note to end on.
Yeah, pretty much.
You were correct. Oh Lord, thank you players for playing. Thank you watchers for watching, and we'll see you next time on fucking I don't even know, blind date. I can't. I just fucking can't.